like, called Area 51. I got yelled at by these people asking me how I got the number. And I'm like, I don't even have a number. I just clicked on this guy's name. I was
I
like, so
just
you're
called
not Michael? He's
Christian.
like, no, how'd you get this number? I don't know.
Like, you
I
should have
was
said,
like,
I
are you
work at a
sure
call
Michael's
center.
not
What number
there?
don't I have?
I did. Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
Everybody's
I was
number,
like,
girl.
I just called the number, or I just called the person
Yeah, I
listed.
literally like, I got every number, girl. You ain't special. Like, who do you think you are? This is a call center. We call everybody the dead, the living, Area 51, aliens.
Hello, ghoul friends. Welcome to the Freaky Fam podcast. I'm Em.
And I'm Doll. What do you got for us, Em?
We got another creepypasta story for you guys today. I will have real life reaction because I have not read the story yet, if I'm honest. So we'll see. Do you already know the story?
No, I don't
Doll?
actually.
Okay, so it's gonna be a blind dive like our can't be any worse than the steampunk girl, Natalie. Whatever. What'd she go by?
Wasn't it Natalie? Oh, Clockwork.
Clockwork.
My favorite part is when
It's
you're like,
that is- no.
what kind of Timu version of an anti-hero name is that?
Clockwork. So let's jump in. About 5 years ago, I lived downtown in a major city in the US. I've always been a night person, so I would often find myself bored after my roommate, who was decidedly not a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I used to go for long walks and spend that time thinking. At night, that don't sound like a good time to me. You're asking to find a shadow squatter. Okay. I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night, and I never once had a reason to feel afraid. I always used to joke with my roommate that even the drug dealers in the city were polite. But all that changed in just a few minutes of one evening. It was Wednesday, somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, and I was walking near a police patrolled park out a ways from my apartment. It was quiet, even for a weeknight, with very little traffic and almost no one on foot. The park, as it was most nights, was completely empty. I turned down a short side street in order to loop back to my apartment when I noticed him. At the far end of the street, on my side, was a silhouette of a man dancing. Dancing? That's literally
Bro,
what
is this just me? Because that's what I've been doing.
dancing is
Dancing in the moonlight, everybody
doing
feeling warm. Yeah.
out?
He's literally dancing in the moonlight. Like, let him be, bro.
Not only was the silhouette of the man dancing, it was a strange dance, similar to a waltz, but finished with a box. Or he finished each box with an odd forward stride. So, like, was he waltz box dancing towards the guy? Is what I'm wondering.
Girl, I would just go up there and dance with him. I'm like, may I have this dance?
I guess you could say he was dance walking straight towards me.
Dun dun dun.
Deciding he was probably drunk, I stepped as close as I could to the road to give him the majority of the sidewalk to pass me by. The closer he got, the more I realized how gracefully he was moving. He was very tall and lanky, and wearing an old suit. He danced closer still, until I could make out his face. His eyes were wide and wild. Head tilted back slightly, looking off at the sky. His mouth was formed in a painfully wide cartoon of a smile. Between the eyes and the smile, I decided to cross the street before he danced any closer. He was dancing alone. Isn't there a song, like a popular pop song about dancing alone? I took my eyes off him to cross the empty street. As I reached the other side, I glanced back and then stopped dead in my tracks. He had stopped dancing and was standing with one foot in the street, perfectly parallel to me. He was facing me, but still looking skyward, smile still wide on his lips. What do you think of this so far? Because I think that'd be pretty creepy.
I would be creeped out.
Something about people creepily smiling.
Yeah, smiling. Well, she can see his face.
His eyes are wide open and wild. His head is tilted back slightly, looking off to the sky, and he's got a cartoonishly wide grin.
Rhoda seems like he's high on life. He's having a ball. He's smiling. He's happy, looking up into the sky. He's dancing. Like, I would just think, to be honest, I would think he was on some kind of substance and he was just popping off. I would cross the street and walk the other way if I'm telling you the truth.
Well, one of my favorite YouTubers, I know you like her too, Bailey Sarian. There's that whole she did a dark history on like the dancing.
Oh yeah, with
like,
the dance
curse
forever,
or whatever. All those people danced till they died. Yeah, that's kind of what making me think of, but with the old suit and stuff, obviously, so not the same time era.
He's a hat man.
Yep, might be. But something about someone smiling, kind of like in the movie Smile, is like they're smiling, but the smile doesn't come to their eyes. Yeah. It's super disturbing.
Yeah, like Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast does not smile with his eyes. He smiles with his face, and it's always scary to me. He's probably is the Beast, to be honest. Insert picture of Jimmy smiling with no eyes. That's what you're seeing in this story. This is what it looks like.
That's perfect. Okay, I took my eyes off him to cross the empty street. As I reached the other side, I glanced back and then stopped dead in my tracks. He had stopped dancing and was standing with one foot in the street, perfectly parallel to me, and his face was still looking skyward, smiling wide on his lips. I was completely and utterly unnerved by this. I don't know why I'm imagining this guy being like the acapella singers like back in the day where they all wear matching outfits. What do they call them?
The Barber Quartet.
About? That's what's making me Barber Quartet. I don't know why I'm thinking of them looking like that, but that's the era I've placed him in.
I think that it makes me think of like 30s or something to me. That's what I've been thinking. Like with a trench coat or something.
I started walking again, but kept my eyes on the man. He didn't move. Once I had put about half a block between us, I turned away from him for a moment to watch the sidewalk in front of me. The street ahead of me was completely empty. Still unnerved, I looked back to where he had been standing to find him gone. For the briefest of moments, I felt relieved. Until I noticed him. He had crossed the street and was now slightly crouched down. I couldn't tell for sure due to the distance and the shadows, but I was certain he was facing me. I had looked away from him for no more than 10 seconds, and it was clear he had moved fast.
Man, he waltzing fast.
I'm thinking of the little demon granny off of Legion. And she's like, yeah, baby, it's going to hell. She's like crawling on the ceiling. You need to look up that scene. It's Legion. It's about
makes me think of like the Legion of Demons.
End of times. Yeah, it's like the end of the world, and like all the demons are like coming out to play in the real
Oh, that's
world,
crazy.
and this girl's supposed to be pregnant with like I don't think it's the Antichrist. I think it's supposed to be like the person supposed to deliver him like a second Jesus or something. But the old lady thing is like, I had nightmares after I watched that movie for the first time of that old lady. She's like, your baby's going to hell. Aren't you creepy? You need to watch it, or at least watch that beginning part. It'll
Okay.
mess you up for life, man.
Just like
the concept of it was really
the
creepy.
Walrus movie, Tusk.
Yeah, change it for life. You bet you're still thinking about it.
On and off.
But you really want to be in a walrus suit now.
Even though he wasn't even really in a walrus suit, he was an actual walrus.
He was sewn. Yeah, he's made into walrus. He cut his foot off and stuff, you know. Made his feet into a fin. And then they throw him raw fish, and give him like those giant, what are they called, gulps from 7-Eleven. Okay. I was shocked. Then I stood there for some time, staring at him, and then he started moving towards me again. He took giant, exaggerated tiptoe steps. I thought he was crouching down, so he looked like he got.
It sounds like a cartoon character.
He tiptoed to the garden, as if he were a cartoon character sneaking up on someone, except he was moving very, very quickly. Like that old lady, I'm telling you. I'd like to say at this point I ran away and pulled out my pepper spray or my cell phone or anything at all, but I didn't. I just stood there, completely frozen. The smiling man crept towards me. And then, doll, I have to ask you this question. How do you think you would react? Would you pull out your pepper spray, call the cops, or would you just freeze if you saw this
first time seeing
quartet man coming towards you?
Okay, the adventurous side of me, because I got two sides. I would probably go up to him because he seems kind of goofy, kind of quirky, kind of like a cartoon character. I wouldn't think he was really a real person. I would think that he was some kind of not spiritual, like some kind of spirit, some kind of weirdy. The other side of me would have ran, like, as soon as I saw that, I would have turned, like, if I saw a man off into the distance, turn around and walking the other direction. Any man. Doesn't matter what the man is. I see a man, turning around,
Dancing
walking the other direction. Yeah.
To me, the fact that the first time he saw him, he's like dancing, but like dancing towards him, I was like, that'd be my first red flag. Well, he did cross the street, but he waited till it caught up to him.
The first red flag.
Maybe I should cross the street.
Yeah, first red flag is that there was a man out at night.
And there's nobody else out.
But, yeah.
And he's dancing, waltzing in the street.
Dancing queen.
Like he's David Bowie, and who was the other one that sang with him? I can't remember.
Mick Jagger, I think.
Yeah. I feel like they're Bowie and Mick Jagger with no...
What if he just has his Walkman on and he's just listening to all these songs and he's pranticizing, he's jazzercising right now. And that guy's judging him hardcore. Maybe he's blind and he doesn't realize he's coming at him.
That's why he's looking up to the sky.
He doesn't know where he's looking.
He's imagining dancing with the love of his life, Mick Jagger. Yep. Who knows? We don't know. So, and then he stopped again, but a car's length away from me. He was smiling his smile, still looking at the sky. When I finally found my voice, I blurted out the first thing that came to my mind. What I meant to ask was, "What do you want?" What do you want? Hold on. What do you want? Sounding better.
Yeah, sounds good.
In an angry voice, at an angry, commanding tone, but it came out more as a whisper. What? It literally has a bunch of A's. What?
He's literally just like I can just see him squinting his eyes and be like, "What? What are you doing, guys? What's this?"
Regardless of whether or not humans can smell fear, they can certainly hear it. I hear it in my own voice. Because he's like, what?
Only person I know that can smell fear is Natalie.
Mm-hmm. She can do a whole thing with your still beating heart while you're still alive, apparently. We still living with that. Still haunts us to this day. Regardless of whether or not humans can smell fear, they can certainly hear it, and I heard it in my voice. And that only made me more afraid. But he didn't react at all. He just stood there, smiling. Sir, did you not think not only is he blind, maybe he's deaf and he's dancing to the music in his mind?
Yeah. And he's just so judgmental.
He can't see or hear.
Yeah.
He don't
Maybe
know
he
if you're
escaped
there.
out of his house or whoever was from his caretakers, and you're just being very judgmental.
He just dancing in the streets because he remembered what it sounded like when David Bowie and Mick Jagger sang it. So he's got to dance. And then, after what felt like forever, he turned around very slowly and started dance walking away. I'm telling you, he didn't even know he's following.
I know, he's like, what? Okay.
Oh,
and then he turns around.
This feels like I'm too close to a car. Let me turn around. Because he's a car's length away. Probably ran into a bumper or something. Tapped into a bumper.
Yeah.
Just like that, not wanting to turn my back to him again, I just watched him go until he was enough away to almost be out of sight. And then I realized something. He wasn't moving away anymore, nor was he dancing. I watched in horror as the distant shape of him grew larger and larger.
Why'd you stand
He was
there?
coming back my way.
Girl, you should have ran a long time ago. When he was running the other way, I would run backwards for a little bit and then I would dart for my life because he can't dance at me that fast.
I don't know, they said he could move really fast.
Oh, I guess he has these large cartoonish legs. Like Goofy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He probably got the Mick Jagger dance. He got the moves like Jagger. And he did it so fast.
He's got them moves like Jagger.
So he grew larger and larger. He was coming my way. And this time, he was running. I ran too. I ran until I was off the side road and back onto a better lit road with sparse traffic. Looking behind me, he was nowhere to be found. The rest of my way home, I kept glancing over my shoulder, always expecting to see his stupid smile. But he was never there. I lived in that city for 6 months after that night, and I never went out for another walk. There was something about his face that always haunted me. He didn't look drunk. He didn't look high. He looked completely and utterly insane.
Maybe he was, though.
And that's the very, very scary thing. Or that is a very, very scary thing to see. But he's really probably judging a poor blind deaf man that's just dancing in the streets.
Yeah, like, this is not even that scary.
That
poor guy, literally living his life, not doing anything wrong, just dancing, being so happy. Like, look at this picture I just sent you of the smiling man. Like, he looks so happy, and she's just so mean. Well, he's just so mean.
Let me see.
Doesn't he look friendly?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just dancing in the streets.
Dancing in the streets. All we need is music. That's all he needed. Sweet music. Maybe he was gonna ask if you would sing for him so he could dance in the street.
But he can't ask because he's probably mute too.
Oh man, this man has everything to life against him, and he's just so happy still.
Yeah, he finds the joy at the little things in life. What it was like when he heard Mick Jagger for the first time. Be sure to watch out for the slit-mouthed woman, more commonly known as I'm gonna butcher this name. Kuchisaki Unan.
We're gonna make Google say it. Google say it.
Kuchisake onna. Kuchisake onna.
This popular and ancient urban legend originated in Japan during the Heian period, roughly 1200 to 800 years ago. Japan was known for its number of frightening ghost stories, with this one in particular being beyond chilling. The legend commences with a stunning woman who was married to a samurai. But beware, looks can be deceiving. She was very vain, and one day went as far as cheating on her samurai husband. When he found out about the affair, he grew very enraged and slit her mouth from ear to ear, giving a Glasgow smile, which is a smile caused by wounds cutting from ear to ear, kind of like the Joker, but bigger. Following the savage action, he asked, "Who will think you're pretty now?"
Okay, then.
Although the origin tale is a cautionary one to remind people to stay faithful.
Because your husband might
story
slit
takes
your mouth. Okay.
Yeah. Be like, "You ugly now. Ask me how I got my scars." What you can
I
say
cheated on my
now?
husband.
The story takes a gruesome turn. In 2007, a coroner found records of similar shocking cases during the time of day that the story takes place.
The nighttime.
That's
so funny how it says that. The nighttime. The time of day that it takes place. Guys, the scariest time of
At
night.
night.
At night.
Records show that many children had died at night. Okay? Rumoring sightings of a woman with similar features were at the time and the place of their deaths during the frightful, realistic twist to the legend. This apparent phenomenon can be explained. A woman wearing a surgical mask or a mask of some sort who would approach people, usually children, at night and ask them, "Am I pretty?" And if they said no, she would slash their faces with a pair of scissors, giving them the similar Glasgow smile. However, if you said yes, she would reveal her face and ask again. If this time they said no, she would slash her faces regardless, even if they still said yes. She would follow them home and brutally kill them. Many people believe the only way to break this pattern is to confuse her by answering with either you're okay, or "You're so-so, meh, you're meh." Not
Mid.
providing a defined answer. Yeah.
Mid. That's how you get out of the slit mouth woman's clutches. Just call her mid and run away.
You're alright. You're right. The confusion from these replies would buy the victim enough time to get away. So one of my many favorite podcasts, what's it called? It's a comedian and his wife. Scared to Death. They did this story, but the version that they read was it was a woman on the side of the road, and it was like a poor pitiful girl, and like a guy would pick her up, and then
She would say the thing.
they would ask about her mask, and then she'd she'd be like, "Am I pretty?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, because she's like crying or whatever, and then she takes, "Am I pretty now?" And they're like, "Meh, you're right, I guess. I mean,
kind of mid.
Put a bag over it, no one would know." Kind of how
Can
I
you
say
put the
when
mask back on,
he's hot.
please?
If you cut his head off, he's fine. he's sexy. But that was the story or the version I've heard. Is there anything else on this?
This makes me think of another urban legend that we used to always love this one, and we always used to love Red Paper, Blue Paper. Have you ever heard of that one? Or Red Paper, Blue Paper / Last Stall. So the last...
Are you talking about the girl in the stalls?
Yeah, the girl that lives in the last stall.
And it's like if you go...
And then she asks, when you're on the toilet, she asks you, red paper, blue paper. If you say red paper, then she like slits your neck and then like lets all the blood drain out, and then that's results in, I guess, the red paper. That's what you get. If you say blue paper, then she strangles you until your face turns blue. And if you say, the only way to get out of it is to like say no paper. No, if you say no paper, then she drags you into the underworld, into the sewers. And if you say like a different colored paper, then she gets confused, and then you have time to run out, like hurry up, pull up your drawers, and run out of the bathroom.
Can't just give her a swirly. I'm hearing creepy noises outside, and it's either someone dragging their trash can up or it's thunder, hopefully.
Why are they dragging their trash can up at 12?
I don't know, but it's really creepy. It's like going like they're moving it up there.
That sounds very much.
I'm gonna freak out.
That sounds very much like what the death gauge sounds like when it's landing. Hate to break it to you.
Well, let me tell you, it's more likely a UFO. I called Area 51 one time. It told me they interrogated me, and they're like, "How'd you get this number?" And I'm like, "I don't know.
Girl, I just typed the wrong number, bro.
Named Christian." And then they started yelling at me, and you could hear interference. You remember the old Tomb Raider, like the Area 51 chapters in the game? And you know how it had the sound, like it sounded like, or for example, like the old Star Trek, like the original, like the weird noises they would have in the background. That's what it sounded like. They were beaming people up? It was like interference. I don't know, but the guy started yelling at me, and he's like, "Let me get my manager." And then he got this other guy that had like this foreign accent, and he started yelling at me.
That's crazy.
And he's like, "There's no way you should know this number." And I freaked out, and I hung up on him because I didn't know what to do. And I told my boss, and then they listened to it, and they're like, "That was super weird. Maybe it was a prank." And I'm like, those people did not sound like they were joking, and the interference and stuff, it was too weird.
That's kind of crazy. Weird. I would have saved that number. Do you still have that number? Can we prank call him on our podcast?
No.
Oh, get it.
No guy's name was Michael.
We're looking for a Michael.
It was creepy. No, and some people would call and ask for that guy, and I was terrified to we called it supervising the call. I was terrified to call because I was afraid that I was gonna get that again. And I'm like, maybe Michael works for Area 51. That's why I got that random person yelling at me, asking me how I got the number.
Girl, if I ever got that, I'd probably be like, I just typed in this random number. I would literally write down that number and then keep it. And then I would feel like I was such like a...
It doesn't show a number, so when you call, it just has a person's name. So you just call it.
That's crazy.
You can't see a number.
Dang.
Yeah, how their system was. It was terrifying.
We need
It was very scary. Weirdest experience. So now I always tell people, I'm like, I called Area 51. I got yelled at by these people asking me how I got the number. And I'm like, I don't even have a number. I just clicked on this guy's name. I was like, so you're not Michael? He's like, no, how'd you get this number?
Like, you should have said, I work at a call center. What number don't I have?
I did. Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
Everybody's number, girl.
I just called the number. Or I just called the person listed.
Yeah, I literally I got every number, girl. You ain't special. Like, who do you think you are? This is a call center. We call everybody. The dead, the living, Area 51, aliens.
I want to see the live action, Japanese.
Yeah, there's a few of them. It
looks creepy. Yeah, the one I wanted to watch I couldn't find on anything, but I might be able to find if I try again, because I used to be able to find it. Now
maybe
that
it's
I
on
want to watch
Tubi.
it, I can't find it anywhere.
Always check Tubi.
And it says that the legend is described as dated back to the 17th or 19th century, which would make sense since her husband was a samurai. Because that's not really a thing anymore. But it became popular in the summer of 1979. But it became so popular in newspapers and magazines reporting the legends that rumors surrounding it had spread throughout the
saying
country,
that they were true story.
leading to young children being accompanied by groups of adults while walking to school.
Mm-hmm.
These stories boom in popularity, or the stories boom in popularity stopped in August. Let's see.
It was really big around right before around the 2010s, like 2007, 2010, stuff like that. Because I remember that's how I heard about them. The peak creepypasta era.
Oh, they got like a whole like diagram of what to say. It says asks, "Am I pretty?" Either if you say no, kills you with scissors. Say yes, takes off masks. Asks, "How about now?" If you say no, cuts you in half. If you say yes, slits your mouth so you appear like her.
So you'd be pretty like her, yeah.
Ah,
If you call her
so
mid,
it's
she gets
like-
confused and you can run away.
And then you're like, yeah. Run down the dark alleyway. Don't trip, don't look back, that's for sure. Okay. So there's another version of her story. The most common version of the story in Japan, her appearance came as a result of an attack by a jealous woman, often her sister, or a botched plastic surgery or dental procedure. How do you botch it so bad that you cut her from ear to ear? Couldn't reach her molars, so you're like, whoops. It's like an episiotomy, but to the face. In the West, the most common version says that she was an adulterous wife or a mistress of a samurai during her life, who grew lonely because the samurai was always away from home fighting and began having affairs with men around the town. When the samurai heard, we already heard this story, he punished her infidelity by slitting her mouth from ear to ear. In other versions, her mouth was filled with numerous sharp teeth. After her death, the woman returned as a vengeful spirit. She covers her mouth with a cloth mask, often a surgical mask. In some iterations, a hand fan or a handkerchief. So sometimes she's a little seductive, like, hey boys. She carries a sharp instrument with her, which can be described as a knife, a machete, a scythe, be like Justin cutting the grass, or a large pair of scissors.
Yeah, I've heard scissors the most.
She's also described. I know, but I'm like, if you think about it, it's supposed to be in the samurai era. Like, why you didn't die with scissors? He got you with a sword. Yeah. It's super sharp. What are they called?
Samurai swords. Katana.
What are the samurai swords called? Katana. Yeah. She's described as having supernatural speed. She is said to ask potential victims if they think she's attractive, often phrased as Watakashi Karai.
You know what you sound like?
Am I pretty
Hibachi
or am I beautiful?
Hello? Hibachi teriyaki?
Let's see. If I say it in my version of Japanese, it says she repeats the questions or asks Koridomo, which means even with this or even now. And if the person responds no or screams in fright, she will kill the person with her weapon. If you respond yes, she will slice the corner of the person's mouth from ear to ear, resembling her own disfigurement. An individual can survive an encounter by using one of several methods. In some versions of the legend, she will leave you alone if you answer yes to both of her questions, though in other versions she will visit the individual's residence later that night and murder the person while sleeping. Another tactic is to say the individual is running late and she will simply bow and apologize. If you're running late.
Oh,
so tell her you're running late and then run the
I
other
have
way.
a business meeting. And
I
she's
know,
like,
the fact
it's
she's, like,
12 at
bowing.
night.
Okay.
It's a late business meeting. See you.
I'll be like, I work night shift. I got a meeting. So she'll bow and apologize and allow you to pass. Other survival tactics include replying to her question by describing her appearance as average.
You kind of
Mid,
average.
like you said, mid. Giving the individual enough time to run away, distracting her by giving her money or hard candies.
Poor girl, how's she gonna eat a hard
Particularly
candy?
a variety of candy known as baku ame, made of caramelized sugar, and by giving her money or throwing them in her direction as she will stop and pick them up, or by saying the word pomade 3 times.
This girl's like,
That's
she
just
seems
pomade.
distracted really easily. She's super extra power. She can, slice you in half and all this and that. And like, but if you throw candy or money at her, she'll bend down and pick it up so you can run away.
Give her sugary treats.
She's
or
literally
give
like,
her
my
money,
popcorn.
or throw it at
Bonk,
her and then just
bonk,
run away.
bonk. She's pulling a pack trick.
Anyway, that's about the most interesting
learned a
stuff I
lot
could find
today.
about
We
her.
learned about the smiling man and the smiling woman. I didn't even think about that, girl.
Yeah, you're
I
gonna
didn't
have
even
to
think about
insert
that.
both their
Yeah.
pictures on the
Yes.
thing because the pictures of her are crazy.
It's kind of crazy that I just did the slip mouth woman, but I didn't even think about that, the correlation with the smiling man and the smiling woman. There you go, guys. I was using my big brain, didn't even know it.
Also, if we want to know what she looks like, apparently she's 8 feet tall, having long, straight black hair, white hands, pale skin, and otherwise considered beautiful. She's only 8 foot. I was like,
8 foot.
no. I mean, I like tall people, but that's too tall for me. No.
Well, with that being said,
lock your doors and check your windows.
because you never know if there's a jazzercising, smiling, deaf, blind, mute man outside. Wanted to take you for, a twirl.